We all watched the movie. Um, I'm thinking about ending things. This is Kaufman directed. It was weird. That was my thoughts. but
As
we'll
Kaufman
start.
is wont to do with his movies.
We will start with the spoiler-free review. If everyone just wants to go around, just kind of top line. How did you feel about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Well, I think it's the most pretentious movie I've ever liked. This is how I would put it.
That's not where I expected you to end that sentence with. But
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I can't even think of like 5 movies that have come out this year, but this is probably my favorite movie of 2020 so far. I mean, I can understand the adjective pretentious being applied to this film. It is quite esoteric, surreal, abstruse, and very uncomfortable at times, but ultimately still very engaging. At least I thought. I was quite into the dialogue. I think the acting is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And I kind of like the surreal thing. I just kind of like. I was always guessing where this movie was going. Sort of.
That's fair, and I think that part of it is that it's not so much it being surreal that was pretentious. It's that and I don't think this is a spoiler. It's front-loading information through conversations, okay? And it's like they just talk about it. They just talk about these kind of pretentious ideas a little bit, right? But the movie does act on those ideas. It does. But it's kind of like a weird little balancing act. Fortunately, I feel like the prose was in the dialogue was engaging enough. The ideas were interesting enough that it's okay. I could sit with these people and hear them hash out their life philosophy. Okay, that's fine. But ultimately, I mean, this was a movie that put the ideas first and made everything happen in order to accommodate the ideas. And again, I liked this movie. I think that given that that's what they were doing, the potential for disaster there was pretty great, and I liked it at the end. I thought it was good.
Okay, just curious. Have either of you read the book, or were either of you like aware of the book before going?
I was aware of the book.
And did you know about like what the book was about before you saw the movie?
No.
I knew absolutely nothing about this movie except for the fact that Charlie Kaufman made it, and that alone was enough to get me interested. Actually, when I first heard the title, I thought it was in reference to the main character wanting to kill herself and not actually end a relationship. But as I kept watching the movie, I was like, oh, I had the wrong idea.
I think it kind of dabbled into. Well, I think it dabbled into both. It was kind of like a double meaning.
I think there's a double entendre.
But I'll just say, straight off the bat, I think of the three of us, I liked it the least. I would agree that the acting was phenomenal, and if it hadn't been, I would have disliked the movie because I thought pretentious was a pretty good word as a way to describe this movie in a lot of parts, and it even kind of I won't say it now, but there was a meta moment in the movie.
The movie was so fond of talking about itself and its
media. And they even like admitted it.
Oh, that was still right.
But the thing is like, to me, admitting or being self-aware of something doesn't make it not that. But regardless, I thought there was the main issues I had with the movie were that I think there were certain scenes that just stretched on too long. They just needed to be shortened. And then I just did not care at all for the ending. Just not at all. I just thought it was, I felt it was a cop-out in place of a real ending. I hope that's not too much of a spoiler. But yeah, that's, and then I didn't hate it. Like I wasn't bored, right? It was certainly like things happening all the time. So there was, it kept your interest. There was like JL, I was very, very curious about like trying to solve the mystery of the movie. I also didn't know anything about it going in. But I was curious I felt like if I had read the book, I would have liked the movie a lot more. Yeah. Because it was after I was confused at the end. Like I watched the entire movie and I came out like kind of confused. And so I read the Wikipedia synopsis of the movie, didn't solve anything for me. So then I read the Wikipedia synopsis of the book and I was like, okay, now I'm starting to piece this together, what it was trying to be, what it was trying to do. I wish it had been more faithful to this story because this seems
yeah, I've heard Kaufman actually changed quite a bit from the original novel.
If you haven't watched this movie and you have read the book, you should know going in, because I've looked into this as well. They are very different. The pieces are there, the beginning pieces, but Kaufman does different things with them.
You could tell this was his.
Yeah.
It was like the director's vision. It was very loosely based off a story that was just a vehicle to express his ideas about things, life. Right. Which, when I was reading about Kaufman, this is the first movie I've ever seen by him. Apparently, that's a common theme in a lot of his movies. So, and that's like a continuous theme. It's about like just very esoteric kind of questions that get asked and answered to various degrees.
Yeah, all right. Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's his, I think.
Yeah, I have seen that, but I know he didn't direct that.
Yeah,
but he wrote it.
Which I think the direction is an important part of this movie, but the writing is also just as important, and I think you can get kind of a sense a little bit.
You know what? I will say that I'm not. I think that JL is better at like identifying good cinematography than I am. But I did get, like, I appreciated what I saw. There was some interesting shots and things, and it did a really good job of making you feel uncomfortable and unsettled.
Yes, because the movie's aspect ratio is in a 4:3, so you're always feel like very like kind of tight and close with these characters, and the entire time, just everyone's kind of subtly going off the deep end. There is a fantastic dinner scene in this movie. That is so awkward yet hilarious and tense, and it's amazing.
Well, I've got a question for you all. Where would you place the genre of this film?
See, at first I thought it was going to be horror, but it wasn't.
I think this movie is horror adjacent. Yeah.
But see, like, well, I won't say any. I'll save it for the spoiler section. I want to get into.
I think Wikipedia called it a psychological drama.
Okay.
Sure.
Interesting.
I mean, it's like what genre would you put a movie like Eraserhead in, or Mulholland Drive? Like it's.
Fair enough.
This is weird, man.
They often put that movie in the horror lists, and I'm like, horror must not be as big of a genre as it should be.